A year ago, almost nobody watched me. If you had watched me on YouTube a year ago, I wouldn't have been speaking to you the way I am now. I was far less confident. I've been studying the art of war for years, so I thought speaking about it on YouTube would be easy. I started a new channel full of energy, confidence, and hope. And what happened? My first video received 2 views. The second did equally well, 2 views. And the third achieved a significant improvement of 150%, 5 views. You can imagine how frustrated I felt. I had to work hard on those videos, but there was almost nothing to show for it. And perhaps you have experienced something similar. You practice, you learn, you try to improve, but the results remain almost invisible. No breakthrough, no recognition, nothing that tells you, oh yes, I'm finally getting somewhere. And after a while, you begin to wonder, am I really making any progress? But what if progress is not always something you can see? What if beneath the surface, something is quietly gathering? In The Art of War, Sun Tzu describes a powerful idea called shi. It is often translated as momentum, but this momentum does not always look like movement. Sometimes it is so quiet that nothing appears to be happening at all. We experience this especially when pursuing something meaningful. We may be developing the capability to serve others well. We may be building a body of work or a reputation people can trust. We may be strengthening relationships that will open possibilities much later. For a long time, none of this may produce a visible result. Yet beneath the surface, potential is accumulating through preparation, positioning, and timing. Then when the conditions begin to align, everything that has been quietly developing can suddenly begin to move. Sun Tzu illustrates this through the image of accumulated water. We can imagine an enormous volume of water held behind a dam. This is what he says. When the victorious commander sends his troops into battle, it is like releasing accumulated water into a gorge 1,000 fathoms deep. This is the power of strategic configuration, 形. The configuration or 形 creates the conditions. The momentum it releases is 势, or what I've translated as quiet momentum. Of course, not every collection of water contains such power. The water becomes powerful because it has been accumulated, elevated, and contained within a particular configuration. Before the gates open, everything appears still. But the stillness is not an absence of power. The potential is already there. In the volume of water, the height from which it can fall, and the path prepared for its release. When the gates finally open, the release does not create the power, it makes the power that has been accumulating visible. This is how progress often works in our life. What appears to be a sudden breakthrough may simply be the release of potential that has been building for a long time. Looking back, I can see that something similar was happening when I was struggling with YouTube. The numbers told me I was getting nowhere, but they could not show me what was quietly accumulating. With every video, I was learning. I was learning how to express an idea more clearly. I was becoming more comfortable in front of the camera. I was discovering which ideas connected with people. And gradually, I was finding my voice. None of this appeared in the view count. From the outside, very little seemed to be happening, but beneath the surface, both my capability and my position were changing. Eventually, I changed my strategy and positioning. Instead of continuing with the new channel, I began sharing Sun Tzu's ideas with the small audience I had already built through my channels on Qigong and the Tao Te Ching. And one of those early videos on the art of war reached nearly 300,000 views in 4 months. To someone seeing only the result, it might have looked like a sudden breakthrough, but it was not sudden. The views arrived suddenly, the ability did not. That had been quietly developing through all the videos that almost nobody watched. This is why we should be careful when we say nothing is happening. Sometimes nothing visible is happening. That is not the same thing. Bamboo offers an extraordinary example. A young bamboo plant may initially show relatively little growth above the ground. Much of its development is taking place beneath the surface as it establishes the underground network needed to support what comes later. Then, once that foundation is established, the change can be astonishing. Mossel bamboo can grow to more than 20 meters, about the height of a 6-story building, in only 45 to 60 days. The height appears weak, but the foundation that makes such growth possible takes far longer to develop. What looks like sudden growth is often the visible release of invisible preparation. The same is true of personal development. Before confidence becomes visible, knowledge may be accumulating. Before an opportunity arrives, reputation may be forming. Before decision becomes clear, experience may be quietly sharpening your judgment. Before other people recognize your ability, you may already be becoming the person who can handle what comes next. What looks like slow progress may actually be quiet momentum. However, quiet momentum does not mean waiting passively and hoping that life will change. The conditions for shi, or quiet momentum, must be created. This idea lies at the heart of Sun Tzu's approach to strategy. He teaches us that victory cannot depend on effort alone. Preparation matters, position matters, timing matters, the surrounding conditions matter. Instead of asking only, how can I work harder? We might also ask, what am I quietly building? Am I developing an ability that will become increasingly valuable? Am I placing myself where better opportunities can find me? Am I forming relationships that may eventually open new opportunities? Am I building the judgment to recognize the right moment when it arrives? These actions may not produce an immediate reward, but they change the conditions from which future results will emerge. And when those conditions begin to align, progress no longer depends entirely on how hard you can push. the momentum itself begins to carry you. There's a difference between effort and 势 or quiet momentum. Effort pushes, 势 carries. There are times when effort is necessary. Nothing develops without practice, patience, and discipline. But effort becomes far more powerful when it improves our position. Otherwise, we may spend years pushing harder from the same place. Personal growth is not about doing more. It is about gradually becoming better positioned, more capable, more perspective, and more ready. And then when the right opportunity appears, what looked like years of slow progress can suddenly become rapid movement. People may call it luck. They may call it an overnight success. But you will know that the breakthrough began much earlier. It began with a quiet work, the work nobody noticed, the attempts that seemed to lead nowhere, the lessons that did not produce an immediate result. All of it was creating 势 or quiet momentum. So if you are working on something meaningful and the results have not yet appeared, do not look only at what is visible. Look at how your position has changed. Look at what you can do today that you could not do a year ago. Look at the judgment, strength, and understanding you have quietly developed. Perhaps you are not standing still. Perhaps you are making far more progress than you think. You may simply be gathering 势, and when the conditions are right, the quiet momentum may carry you further than effort alone ever could. So here is a question to reflect on. What quiet momentum are you building today?